Hey everybody, Xeno here. So recently we were given a whole lot of new information about Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Again, they just don't want to stop with news blowouts for this game. But anyway, we were given a look at Urbosa gameplay, Zelda gameplay, a world map, and even training missions. There's a lot to unpack here, like more than TGS a lot. So today I'm going to give you 15 of the most important details and interesting facts that came out of this presentation. Call it my analysis if you will. So, let's get into it. We're going to kick it off with some information that was talked about in the gameplay demo, but not exactly shown. So the Gerudo Desert is being invaded by Yiga, and our friends at Treehouse say there is a definite reason behind this, but they're not going to tell us, of course. If we really think about it though, we might already know that reason. Think back to Breath of the Wild. Now we know that this memory ends with Link saving Zelda, but we don't know what else happens in the rest of their time in Gerudo Desert. But with the Yiga still after Zelda, there's a good chance this wasn't their only attempt at trying to get her. So, what am I getting at here? Well, I think it's not too far-fetched to say that the Yiga might be attacking Gerudo Town because they want Zelda, specifically to assassinate her. Moving on though, here's another interesting quote from our Treehouse friends that's very interesting and exciting.
But what I did want to say is fans can look forward to getting more backstory on these characters as well. You really get a good look at Urbosa's relationship to Zelda, and also more information about Urbosa's relationship to Zelda's late mother.
So as you just heard from this Treehouse rep, apparently this game is very serious about telling us more about the backstories of its characters. From Zelda to the champions to even characters we have heard very little of. In her example, Zelda's mother. That's right, she specifically calls out the late Queen of Hyrule, a character that is very underexplained in Breath of the Wild, and I'd love to learn a whole lot more about her in this game. She even mentions learning more about the relationship between Urbosa and Zelda's mother, which is never elaborated on between them being very close friends. It's a really interesting and specific example to call out, but it's a very exciting one as well. Zelda's mother is a character that very much needs to be explained more, as she is integral to the whole plot of Breath of the Wild and Age of Calamity, so I can't wait to see what exactly they're going to explain. Here's where it gets really interesting though, because in a blink and you'll miss moment, when exiting out to the main menu, you can see the victory conditions for the battle in Gerudo Desert. And the victory condition is to defeat Master Koga. If you don't remember this bumbling buffoon of a leader, how could you? But the thing is, even though this character shares the name Master Koga, they don't necessarily need to be the same amazing leader we see in Breath of the Wild. Because as pointed out to me by one of you guys a few weeks ago, Koga is not a name, it's a title. Creating the champion, page 371, bottom right. The current master of the Yiga clan has inherited the name Koga. So whoever Master Koga's predecessor was also Master Koga, which that itself brings doubt and uncertainty to this being the same Master Koga as Breath of the Wild. But I can take it further. I want you to remember Impa, Robbie, and Pura, because they are very young in Age of Calamity, but very old in Breath of the Wild. Now look at Master Koga in Breath of the Wild. Sure, he's old, but I don't think he's as old as the Sheikah Elders. I think he's more of a middle-aged man, which then would put him as too young to be alive when the Great Calamity happened. At this point, I feel like the evidence is weighted towards this being a completely new character, but even if it isn't, I still welcome the confirmation of a Master Koga. Let's transition for a bit to the topic of Age of Calamity's map though, because there is a lot to unpack here, and I mean a lot. First of all, did you notice the map is different? This is not the same map we saw in Breath of the Wild. There are ruins that are gone and buildings that have appeared. Take for example Akala Citadel. The bridge to the Citadel has been repaired. On the Great Plateau, on the other hand, the Temple of Time and Old Castletown ruins are totally missing. Similarly, the Royal Tech Lab ruins are also removed from the map. And as a final example, the pillars around Hyrule Castle are also missing. That's not the only new thing you're going to find on this map though, because we now have several new icons representing different things you can do in Hyrule 100 years prior to Breath of the Wild. We're going to start with listing every icon and what it represents, or what I think it represents. So let's start with the confirmed ones. Main scenario, training, cooking, stable, blacksmith, Link quest icon, Impa quest icon, Mipha quest icon, Urbosa quest icon, Revali quest icon, Zelda quest icon. And that's all we have confirmed, but there are still a few icons left we can speculate the meaning of. Military training camp. as the icon is located over the military training camp from Breath of the Wild. My best idea as to the purpose of this icon is free play battles. Prayer. Based on the icon and the location, I think this is some kind of prayer activity. It's located over the Sage Temple ruins, and the icon looks like someone folding their hands and praying. As to the gameplay purpose of this, I really have no idea. Research or die shop. This icon is located over Hateno Village, and I can think of two different activities that might be hidden under it. First, research. This icon reminded me of a test vial, which led me to research. And Hateno Village is, in Breath of the Wild, the site of an ancient tech lab. And even back in the day of Age of Calamity, the site of an ancient furnace. On closer inspection though, I think this icon is made for the dye house. The dye house in Breath of the Wild is located in Hateno Village, the same place this icon is over. The icon also bears a resemblance to the vials used to dye clothes in that game. And finally, as we now know thanks to this Treehouse demo, Link can swap out armor suits in Age of Calamity, and most likely also dye them. Shop. This icon bears a strong resemblance to a pot, but I don't know what would be represented with a pot, besides I guess maybe a shop. My main reasoning for calling this a shop is because we just don't have one yet, and I don't know what else this icon could be. Plus, as we're about to find out, this is one of the most plentiful icons in the game, so it would make sense that there are a lot of shops. Next mission recommendation. Again, I don't have a great idea as to exactly what this icon could be. My best idea was that it is recommending the best level for you to currently take on with your character's levels. My reason for this deduction is that this icon has a little animation where Egg Guardian pulls up one of his legs and puts it back down in one direction, making it kind of look like he's pointing at something. And if you line it up, it looks like he's pointing at this training level right next to him. Egg Guardian also seems to be a pretty helpful guy, and maybe even a sort of tutorial character, so I think this kind of works for an idea. New location available icon? So this has to be the hardest one to pin down, because it gives us very little indication as to what it is. We just get an antenna sending out a signal. The weird thing is though that we've seen this sign before. You might have forgotten it, but this is the exact same UI sign that was used in Breath of the Wild for the shrine tracker. Now we of course know that shrines aren't going to be in Age of Calamity, which leaves me kind of drawing a blank as to what this could be, but then I realized this symbol is right over East Akala Stable, which is a stable that is not currently on the map. So maybe this is a indication as to you unlocking a new area in the game that you can now go to, this time being East Akala Stable. As a final note on all these icons, they act very similar to how they do in Breath of the Wild. When they're orange, they haven't been completed yet. When they're blue, they have already been completed. And specifically for quest icons, they turn gray when completed. So with all that, we now know for the most part what all the icons in Age of Calamity do. But I bet you're wondering, how much of each of them are there? Well, when going through and looking at everything the game has shown us thus far, we come out with this. 7 main scenarios, or main missions, have been confirmed. Hyrule Field, Breach of Demise, Zora's Domain, Death Mountain, Rito Village, Gerudo Desert, and Gatepost Town by the Great Plateau. For training maps which seem to offer the player battles in between main story scenarios, we've seen 14. 7 Link quests, 3 Zelda quests, 3 Impa quests, 2 Mifa quests, 2 Urbosa quests, and 2 Rivali quests. 7 cooking pots, 4 stables, 6 shops, 1 vial, 1 prayer, 1 blacksmith, and 1 military training camp. And that is an awful lot of content all around Hyrule. And that's only 7 main story scenarios into the game. But let's go back to the training maps for a minute, because they were one of the biggest reveals and showcases in this gameplay demo. From the presumably 2 maps we see during Treehouse, we get a good idea of what these training maps are all about. Smaller maps, new objectives, and less of a focus on story. I think you can call these comparable to the adventure mode of Hyrule Warriors. A fun side distraction that when you get into it has a lot of substance, and hopefully will give you good rewards. And one more thing before we move on, I want to take a closer look at exactly what the maps they showed off are. Treehouse Live gave us a look at Long Long Ranch, or Mabe Ranch, and a location right outside the Central Tower Garrison. Both of these training maps are borrowed directly from the Hyrule Field scenario map, as you can tell by just overlaying them. Now, thing is, we don't have complete confirmation the map outside the Central Tower Garrison was a training map. For some reason, the Treehouse didn't want to show them entering that level, but based on the map size and the presence of a timer, plus on the map you can even see there's a marker around the garrison, I think this is a training map. We've been talking a lot about the Central Tower Garrison though, and it just so happens our friends at Treehouse did give us some more information as to exactly the role this place is going to play in Age of Calamity. They mentioned that this area is a base of operations for Link, which lines up with everything we've been seeing. We saw Link, Zelda, Urbosa, and Pura here together in the latest trailer. When Link selects a training mission, there's an animation of him warping from the tower, and it's easy to miss, but when they quit the Gerudo Desert segment and go back to the world map, for a second you can see a blue sky and what seems to be something loading up before the map comes on screen. And this got me thinking, there is a world map, but is there also a hub world? If there is, the Central Tower Garrison is the prime fit. There was one more really interesting comment made by the presenters during Treehouse Live though, and that was simply saying, Link is from Hateno Village. The problem with them saying this is they didn't clarify if they meant Link can be from Hateno Village in Breath of the Wild by buying a house there, or if he is in this game. Because if he is in this game, that confirms a pretty long-running fan theory that the house Link buys in Breath of the Wild was originally his. It would be a pretty hilarious piece of irony, so I really do hope it is true. Time for the most important detail though, the one you've all been waiting for, food. This presentation confirmed that cooking is back in Age of Calamity. Recipes are learned by bringing back items found in battle to cooking quests on the map. Once you learn these recipes, you'll have the option before battle to use necessary materials to cook a dish for bonus effects in the upcoming battle. This includes increased movement speed, increasing a perfect dodge timing window, increased damage, or even resistance to fire and lightning attacks. As far as confirmed food goes, we see the steamed mushrooms, tabantha bake, herb sauté, steamed meat, steamed fish, electro mushroom skewer, and chili fish skewer. These other two though, I couldn't identify these. The closest thing I could come up with for this one is egg tart, and nothing comes close to matching that drink. My best guess is that it's some kind of Gerudo cocktail like referenced in Breath of the Wild's The Perfect Drink side quest. I found that really interesting though. I did not expect to see any new types of food in Age of Calamity, but as far as I can tell, these are new. If I'm just missing something, let me know in the comments, but I've went through all the recipes and I did not see these two. I really do love how Age of Calamity seems to be taking cues from Breath of the Wild in just every facet of the game. I was not expecting to see side quests in this game, but here we are. And the best part is these quests seem to be worth your while. Unlike in Hyrule Warriors where new combo options were opened up by using a skill tree, in Age of Calamity they seem to be unlocked by side quests. I love this idea because it actually gives an incentive to do the quests. If you've been wondering exactly what Age of Calamity's controls look like, well, I have some good news for you. During the demo when going to the systems page, we get to see the whole setup for exactly how Age of Calamity's controls are mapped. Y regular attack, X strong attack, A special attack, B dodge, plus menu, minus system, change character with up or down on the D-pad, guard with ZL, unique action with ZR, items L, and Sheikah runes R. The weapon variety of Breath of the Wild is back in Age of Calamity, and this time they won't break! Just as in Hyrule Warriors, characters have levels and will continue to grow the more you use them. Thing is though, in Age of Calamity, weapons also have levels now, and that level can be increased by fusing different weapons together. I'm sure this feature will also make sure you don't run out of inventory space every 5 seconds. We only get to see Link's weapon menu, but from it we can tell he can use swords, long swords, and spears. Getting into even more detail though, we can see exactly what weapons he has in his inventory. A soup ladle, 5 soldiers' broadswords, 2 Zora swords, a feathered sword, a boko club, an iron sledgehammer, 3 travelers' claymores, 3 soldiers' spear, and 2 throwing spears. There seems to be a pretty good variety of the weapons seen in Breath of the Wild represented right here, and I'm sure this isn't it. Also, did you know Koroks and Korok seeds are also back in Age of Calamity? Why? It actually do mean that. I mean, yeah, I get it, they're gonna be hidden collectibles in every stage, basically like the gold Skulltulets. But their appearance here just doesn't make sense continuity-wise. Age of Calamity already has a small handful of things like this that just don't line up with the continuity of Breath of the Wild, but I just hope that they don't make that small handful any bigger. And that's about it. Those are the biggest takeaways from the latest gameplay of Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity during Treehouse Live. Oh wait, that's actually only 14. Wait, I got it, okay. So, did you guys know that during Link's special attack, he eats a grilled rock roast and a mighty banana? Pretty deep cut actually, like a grilled rock roast. I didn't even know that was in the game, besides like in that one side quest with the Gorons. So yeah, that is a deep cut. That's kind of cool. Yeah, that's a definitely need to know detail. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you subscribe. Immensely helps out the channel. And just make sure that you always get updated when I make a new video. And we're making a lot of videos lately. Age of Calamity it's coming up quick. And I am extremely excited. I hope you guys are as well. I imagine you are. I mean, you watched this video. And if you want to show your support even more, you can go follow me on Twitter, join the Discord server, or go follow me on Twitch. We do live streams every Friday. If you have any other really interesting takeaways from the Treehouse live gameplay, let me know. I'd love to hear any more really cool details that I just may have glossed over here. Oh yeah, also like the video if you enjoyed it. It helps the YouTube algorithm push it around. Also, you can share it yourself if you want, I'd really appreciate it. That's gonna be it for me today, guys. Have a fantastic day, and I will see you very soon with more videos. Bye.